just had a great season, but there's a lot of credit that's given for them to the athleticism. But how would you explain the intelligence of this unit, the football IQ, and maybe does an example come to mind?
Well, just formation, recognition before the ball is snapped. They do an excellent job versus the run. A lot of teams that can get after the passer, sometimes they struggle in the run game. And I just think that's pre-snap thought process, and I think them guys do a good job of recognizing the formation, where's the running back at, and those guys work good together. And especially playing against an athletic quarterback like Mahomes and a lot of other guys in the league, you got to keep them in the pocket and do a good job working together.
All right, next we're going to go over to Jenna Lane from ESPN.
Hey, Larry, great to see you.
Great to see you. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Hope you're doing well, too. You've been to a couple of these Super Bowls as a player, and you were actually at this last one in Tampa Bay as a player. And with this whole COVID climate and everything, how much different is it, aside from the fact that you guys are sleeping in your own beds at night?
Well, it's a little different, especially with the Chiefs coming in over the weekend opposed to coming in Monday. I remember as a player, there was a party, every night. And by the time we got around Wednesday, we kind of hunkered in on the game and put all the Super Bowl festivities to the side. And, just as a coach, I'm all old now. And, the wife and kids are waiting on me to come home to do daddy stuff. But it's a little different with the COVID, with the Chiefs being in Kansas City.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go over to Kyle Newman from the Denver Post.
Hey, Coach. So after Shaq Barrett's monster season last year, how have you seen him, build off of that? And how did he handle that success, especially, after all the grinding he had to do to establish himself as an NFL star?
Well, he had to change his game up a little bit. He found out this year everybody was keen on him. He got a lot of chips and double teams, and they slid the protection to him. So he's a little frustrated early on. He's, those guys, they want those sacks, they want those numbers. But he had to learn how to be patient and play with inside the defense. But a lot of chips. He got chipped a lot. I think he probably got chipped the most out of all the DNs in the league, and he still was productive for us. And he got to understand pressure is just as good as the sacks. Guys know in this league, those numbers can jump from one year to the other. It just depends on if the offense is going to allow you or give you a lot of opportunities to work one-on-one versus those tackles. But he's a stud. He's a star. He knows how to play. He understands how to rush the quarterback. And I'm just excited for him.
All right, next we'll go over to Grace Remington from Channel 10.
Hey, Larry, I was wondering, when you first met Tom Brady at Michigan, we've all seen his infamous combine tape. Like, what were your impressions of him, first impressions? And then as you got to know him as a teammate, what was he like?
He always been a leader from day one. As soon as I got on campus in Ann Arbor, he was the leader. He was the guy. One of my good buddies who was in my class, Drew Henson, was coming in. He had a lot of hype, but it was obvious by the time the end of our first summer together that Tom was the leader. He always brought guys together. Looking back, we always, we get on Lloyd Carr like, man, why ain't just let Tom throw the ball left and right? Because, we was a run-first team at Michigan. And when you see him in the pros, when, he goes spread and you just let him do his thing, he don't lose. But he was always the leader. We always knew we was in every game when he was under the center. And nothing has changed. He was humble then. He's still humble now. He's just the ultimate competitor. That hasn't changed. A little more voiceful now than he was back then. In Michigan in college, the coaches try to be the leader. Now it's Tom's show.
All right, now we'll go over to Greg Allman from The Athletic.
Hey, Larry, you've been through this process. You know how much work it takes as a player to get to a Super Bowl. Having now done this on the coaching side, how gratifying has this journey this season been for you?
You got to take that approach as a proud papa. You just watching those guys celebrate after the Green Bay game and just watching them guys in the locker room, it just made you feel good. Seeing the excitement on the plane ride, just looking at them guys, even last week, it's just them guys on cloud nine. And, just a guy that been there, I'm just trying to hunker them in, let them enjoy what's going on. That's why I'm always in favor of that week off in between the game and let the, guys settle down. So this week we can hone in on the Chiefs and what it's going to take to win.
Next, we'll go over to Katie Baker from The Ringer.
Hi there. I'm curious if you had ever, before you started working together, if you had ever crossed paths in a meaningful way with Jason Pierre-Paul. And I think I read that now you call him Gumby from time to time, but I was just wondering if you could, if you had met him before, what you remember from that. And even if not, just kind of how your relationship has evolved in the past year.
Oh, man. I always been a big fan of him. I never met him until I came to Tampa. He's just a freak. The way he moves, the way he bends. I always, I put a little pressure on him. Like, the outside, they know about Von Miller. You hear even Chandler Jones and all these great pass rushers, but he's more skilled, in my opinion, than those guys. He has the length. He has the toughness. And I'm happy for him. He's starting to get his just due, but he's just a freak off the field, and even off the field and on the field. He's just crazy, man. He brings so much emotion to the meeting room. Guys love playing with him. He's just big time energy. One of my, I've only been coaching 6 years, but he's definitely one of my favorite. And he loves the game, and definitely got to stay on him. He challenged me from that perspective, but I love being around him. And if you come in this building, he's the light of this building, and everybody gravitates to him, offensive side and the defense side.
All right, next we will go over to Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report.
Hey, Larry. How did the presence of Vita Vea impact your pass rush in Green Bay with your guys JPP and Shaq having 5 sacks? And could the fact that he wasn't available in Week 12 help your edge guys be even more productive in the rematch with the Chiefs?
Absolutely. When Vita in there as an offensive coordinator, game plan, you're not going to run the ball that much. You're going to scratch some of those run attempts off the list because you're going to be just running into a brick wall. And just as far as a quarterback, if you can't step up, you give the guys on the outside more time to get to the quarterback. That's just the presence. That's just the talent that he has. And you got to account for him up the middle. And the quarterbacks have a hard time stepping up when he's in there because he's going to push whoever's blocking him in the quarterback's lap.
All right, next we will go over to Darren Urban from Cardinals.com.
Hey, Larry, good to see you. I'm curious, you've had some experience, obviously, playing in a Super Bowl, BA had coached in one, but that time that you guys had in Arizona as a group, and so many of you on the staff right now were there in 14 and 15 in there. Did that help you guys in terms of learning anything about playoffs and being as a coaching staff together that you could use now?
Well, in our first rodeo, that helps us with the experience and just leading up to those, it's late in the year. Normally, half the team is at home right now. Well, majority of the teams are at home right now. But you start the playoffs, it's been a lot of reps, a lot of snaps that those guys take. So you start putting the backups in, normally like if it's week 5, the starters will get majority of the reps, but the later in the season and in January as a coach, you got to start letting them guys sit those reps out and just save their legs for Sunday.
All right, next we'll go over to Dirk Chatelain from the Omaha World Herald.
How you doing, Larry?
How you doing?
Good. Hey, Shaq's got a really interesting backstory. He was a Division II walk-on. He was a undrafted guy. I'm just curious, is there something that makes him distinct, to sort of be able to get from the bottom of the ladder to where he is now? And what kind of, boost do you think that kind of background gives a guy in terms of just developing his hunger?
Well, he's hungry and he walks in this building. I think he's one of those like James Harrison, some of them guys that's not as big. They get undrafted, they get unnoticed. He went to a small school. Well, Colorado State's not that small, but it's small. But he was undrafted, and what sucked for him is he's behind 2 Hall of Fame players, so he had to wait his turn. Even I followed him back when he was in Denver, just a backup or a situational rusher. We always called him number 48. We used to watch them guys like, man, they got Von Miller, and they got that one kid, 48. So, but he just had to wait his turn. But the talent is there. He knows how to rush the passer. And I'm not surprised because he has the skill set. He just had to wait his turn. And I always remind him, it's not my fault that you went undrafted. You weren't that good in college. So, but he's a tremendous talent. And I'm glad we got him.
All right, next we'll go over to Mark Topkin from the Tampa Bay Times.
Hey, Larry, thanks. And what do you see looking across the line at how Mahomes plays and how Foote plays? It's kind of their individual styles and what challenges they're going to present.
Repeat that again. Your volume went out.
I'm sorry. You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. When you look across the line, what do you see about the style of play for Mahomes and also for Travis Kelce?
Well, the style of play, I know their line is banged up, but when you play those style of quarterbacks, and I try to tell my guys, there's going to be plays where Mahomes is going to, read the rush. He's going to buy a little time. He's going to see what you guys doing. He's really going to, we call it as the play breaks down, but I call it just backyard ball. He has that type of talent where he's going to buy time so those wide receivers are going to get open. They know that teams going to have to play a lot of zone versus those guys. They got the threat that they have on the outside, so he's going to buy time. And when I say that, he's going to make you miss. He's going to step up where you're not, so you got to try to keep him in the pocket. All 4 guys up front got to keep the eyes on him, and that's the dangerous part. We can have perfect coverage, perfect rush. Everybody's in their lane, but those type of guys with that unique talent, they can break you down. They can slide through there. All they need is a little crease. And with this guy, he can throw 80-yard bomb or he can, run for 50 yards. So that's the challenges that he presents.
Next, we'll go over to Jason Romano.
Hey, Larry, how you doing, man? It's good to talk to you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine. How are you?
I'm good, my friend. We talked to Clyde Christensen last week for our show, and we were talking from a spiritual perspective about the impact that he had and the Coach's Bible Study that you guys have been doing this year. I'm wondering if you could share a little bit about the importance of your faith and Clyde's spiritual mentorship in your life this year.
Oh, man, Clyde, I'll start off with him. Just as soon as we came here, we lost our chaplain, and he took that role. He's definitely the light in this building. He puts his foot on everybody, coaches, the head players, as far as, be on time for Bible study, praying all throughout the building, on the road. And he's definitely helped me grow as a believer. And just, like the word says, iron sharpens iron. And he definitely took that role in mentorship. And just in 2 years, he done made a big impact on me personally. And, spiritually, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, Super Bowls, Super Bowl rings or contracts or fame, all that stuff is going to come and go. And your relationship with Christ is what's going to stand forever. And we got to keep everything in its rightful place. And if you do that, you'll come out all right.
All right, next we'll go over to Steve Weish.
Hello, Larry. Hey, I wanted to talk to you this summer. Coach Arians talked about how it's his responsibility to identify future coaches to replace coaches that he may lose. And he specifically singled you out, saying he thinks that one day you're going to be a heck of a defensive coordinator. What about him having an eye for talent, and how has he developed you or whomever has developed you into becoming someone he thinks can be a defensive coordinator very quickly?
Well, I think the world of BA, we've been around each other a long time, from back in early 2000 in Pittsburgh. I think he recognized, just the leadership that I brought to the game. I still like to think that I was just a heck of an athlete, and that's why I made it all those years in the league. But he's not the only one to remind me. That was because of my play from neck up that made me survive so long in this league. But I'm still going to tell everybody I think I'm just bigger, stronger, and faster. But he put a lot of pressure on me. When I tried to retire, he said, no, you're going to be a coach, and you're going to be a hell of a coach, and you're going to be a coordinator one day in this league. And just that confidence that he gave me, just took it I took it and ran with it. And he just breeds confidence. He expects excellence out of everybody, and it starts with the coaching staff. Then it, goes down to the players.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next we're going to go over to Josh Weinfuss from ESPN.
Hey, Larry, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, congratulations. Hey, with Bruce taking the play calling off his plate this year, how have you seen that has it changed him? Is he less stressed? Is he any different?
A little different, a little more on defensive headset, a little more chatty on the defensive side, got us more on our toes as than in the past when he used to be play calling, worrying about just the offensive side. But I think it helps us out big time because he's, in-game adjustments and his eyes are, seeing the whole game, offense and defense. And throughout the year, numerous times he comes up to me and say, hey, tell them guys this and tell them that helped us when, in series against our opponents. So it definitely helped us out on the defensive side, him just being able to float back and forth on the offense and defensive side.
All right, now we'll go back over to Scott Reynolds.
Hey, Larry, just to kind of follow up on Steve's question about being a coordinator in waiting, because you guys have, are in the Super Bowl, other teams have rushed to fill head coaching jobs and coordinator vacancies, which is, kind of disappointing given the timing of all this. Is it a bittersweet experience for you coaching in the Super Bowl? Exciting on that hand, but then on the other hand, knowing that your dreams of becoming a coordinator may have to wait a year because of the success. And you're not the only guy in this boat too. Obviously, Kansas City's Eric Bieniemy and others are dealing with this as well.
Well, I can't speak for them, but shoot, when you're in an environment, when you're winning and just being with these guys, this coaching staff, I'm never going to be in a rush to go somewhere else. Yes, that's one of my goals, to be a coordinator. But if I'm in an environment where we're winning in the playoffs, my feet are right there. And that time will come. And hopefully, I answer the call. The plus side, I get to be underneath Todd Bowles for another year and learn from him and the other coaches that's on his staff. But I'm just so excited going for the ride with these players and just the big game and, playing in the Super Bowl. So that time will come and hopefully I'll be ready.
All right, we got about 5 minutes left. Next, we're going to Therese Paylor from Yahoo Sports.
Hey, Coach Foote, how you doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm a Michigan guy, so it's nice to talk.
Go Blue.
Hey, quick question for you. When you watch the tape of Travis Kelce, right? What do you see as far as like matchup difficulties? Because you watch the guy run some routes and it's like, man, hey, this guy is doing some things. But when you're trying to teach and help your guys figure out, all right, how are we going to defend this guy? Like, at least what you can share. What are you saying?
Well, he's a big guy. You want to put your hands on him. The problem is, just playing all them years in the league, tight ends that can get out of breaks and can separate, those are the most dangerous ones. The Gronk, the Wittens, the Antonio Gates, the Kelce. And it's really, you can't really defend it. You just got to be ready to drive and break and tackle. The main thing I'm telling the guys all week, make sure we tackle them. Don't let him start looking like wide receivers, with yak yardage. He's going to catch the ball. He's a big target. And like I said, he can get out his break. to make sure you're there to tackle them and get them on the ground. But when those special tight ends, they're gonna get those catches. You want them, just be as close as possible to get them on the ground. And in the red zone, can't let them bother you up. You definitely have to bring more than one guy to stop those guys. And, I just put the pressure on my guys rushing and get the quarterback because we can't cover him for long.
All right, next we're going to go over to Mike DeCourcy.
Yes, Larry. I in the discussion about more minority coaches getting into more prominent positions, one of the things that's talked about is representation. So I wondered if in your time in Pittsburgh playing for Coach Tomlin, whether that helped you to view yourself as a future coach.
Well, believe it or not, when he joined our staff, I think probably 31, 32 years old at the time, and come from a similar background, that really started, I started thinking like, man, I can be a coach in this league. And he started, putting that in my ear through the years. And I kind of like started following after him a little bit. And older I got, then when BA offered me the job, I just took it and ran with it. We know throughout the years, this league is lacking in that area. The media is doing a great job. People are putting the pressure on them. And hopefully you start seeing guys of color getting more opportunity, especially, you see the GMs are more. I was excited seeing the guys of color getting the GM jobs. And I think it's going to start there, then more coordinators. And the good offense coordinators been black, been quarterbacks. So you see Byron Leftwich, now the quarterback thing is getting knocked down. So when these guys start retiring, you start seeing them be coordinators. So you'll start seeing the offensive side catch up with the defensive side, in my opinion.
All right, now we'll go over to Alex Fleming.
Doing, sir? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh man, I'm glad to ask a question. Glad to talk to you, Mr. Foote. You arguably have the best linebacking core in the NFL with Shaq Barrett, Devin White, and Levante David. Do you believe that the key to victory in this Super Bowl will be in the linebacking core, slowing down the running game and stopping Travis Kelce?
Oh man, every game starts with the linebackers. We're the heartbeat of the defense. The games are going to be won and lost off the linebacker play. No, just we got to get pressure. I think on both sides of both teams, who puts the most pressure on the quarterback is going to increase the chances of winning. Big challenge with those guys with Kelce and Mahomes. Those are the studs of that team. And it's going to be a lot of pressure on our linebackers to perform and slow them guys down.
All right, now we'll go over to Vinny Iyer from Sporting News.
Hey, Coach. How's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing well. So you got two prize pupils there, the Shaq Barrett and JPP, really dictated the action against the Packers now. Seems like they have a similar opportunity in this game. What kind of makes them tick in terms of like knowing how to complement each other's games so they can come at the quarterback from different ways on the edge there?
Well, first and foremost, I just put pressure on them guys as far as you better play the run. You better recognize formations and get a feel when offenses are going to run the ball opposed to passing it. We got to stop the run first in order to get after the quarterback. But those guys work good together, even with our interior guys, as far as you going high or you're going to speed the power, keep the quarterback in there, run a lot of, games up front. So the first thing I always tell them guys, communicate, talk, and it's going to be paramount this week for us facing Mahomes. We got to keep this guy in the well. You don't want him running all over the place and having our DBs cover for 8 seconds because we're going to be in trouble if that's going to happen. So my main thing is to those guys is to communicate, talk.
All right, last question. We got to make it quick. Rick Stroud from 10 Bay Times.
Hey, Coach. Shaq certainly got plenty of attention with what he did last year, and he fought through and had a good regular season. What do you think it is about him that just, the bigger the game, the better he plays? I mean, 3 sacks in an NFC Championship game.
He's ready to play. He's excited. He has a Super Bowl ring already, but that's when he was just a reserve backup. I remind him that all the time. Like, yeah, that ring got a little asterisk. No, I'm just joking. But I tell him, go out there and play. It's his time. He had to wait over in Denver.
Yeah.
Now it's his turn to showcase his talent on the biggest stage. And God bless him. He know how to get after the quarterback. He loves the game. He loves to play. And I'm looking forward to seeing him on this stage this week.
Thanks, Larry.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time. That's all we got for today.
All right. God bless. Thank you.